It feels like forever, but we're here again in a very, very different circumstance. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ike Sky, and I am back on the mic for Logistical Nightmare Racing. Here today, round 3 of the Season of Chaos, where the drivers are going to be having a very different kind of race tonight, I think it's fair to say, from what they're used to. But that is very much the order of the day tonight. Let me just get these numbers tweaked so that you can hear me over the sound of the wonderful engines that we get to enjoy tonight in a very different kind of setting than what we're used to for Assetto Corsa Competizione. If you're in chat, please do say hi. I can see Ashley and Brooker both in chat already. How's the knee, Andrew? Is it looking any better yet? Sorry, I've not been watching your live streams. It's been quite the ordeal recently. Not least of which, trying to get my throat in order. There we go. So, first of the drivers to come round to the start line for their fast laps are coming to the start line now, just coming through the final sector. Mr. Duprice, if I'm getting... No, I think that's Duprice. I could be very, very wrong. Mr. Patterson is not out yet. No, I totally agree. Andrew. And as you say, it's one wrong move and it's back to where you were before. How's the video quality, by the way? As much as I would love to check, it's one of those things where you're going to know better than I am. And I trust Ashley's... Yes, let's go Alan Patterson, says Alan Patterson, I'm pretty sure. He was one of the first out onto the track. Oh, that's really unfortunate. There must be something quite critical wrong if they're not giving you an indication as to what's actually wrong with it. So, aside from all of the catch-up that we've been doing, what's going on tonight? Tonight we have the Logistical Nightmare Racing Season of Chaos, and my goodness, is it going to be a chaotic evening for all of the drivers. You can see on the track conditions at the moment, the track and the air are at 45 and 41 degrees respectively, but it is raining. So the usual very, very soft compound for the wet tyres that we're used to using and seeing and having them work, and everything is absolutely fine. It's going to be a very, very different race for all the drivers tonight as Mr. Venter goes to the top in the LNR NSX. Not surprising that Paul is first out of the blocks when it comes to setting a representative lap time. This is where he excels, is in the inclement and frankly impossible conditions which we find ourselves in. We're down at the Hungaroraring, which again, a very abrasive track, probably one of the worst places that you could possibly take on a race like this, but again, this is the Season of Chaos. This is what we are expecting to be seeing from this season. But Hungaroraring, not known for its corner names as far as I know. If anyone has a track map that does give us the corner names, not that I'm going to be able to pronounce any of the Hungarian names for any corner, that I would be more than willing to accept. It's a 10-minute qualifying session, which again, straight to the point, straight to the game, if you can't get the car up to speed quickly, then you are going to have troubles. Paul has given up on that particular lap. Bullion coming around. I dread to think what the tyres on the Aston Martin are going to be looking like. He's 3/10 off as he comes down into the second sector. But everything looking relatively alright at the moment. Let me get to a nice viewpoint for you all. No instance to speak of so far, although Bullion really absolutely pushing the limits of the grip and invalidated his lap. He will be able to get out for one more, but it's only going to be one more lap. Who is going faster? Mr. Lee Bullion coming down towards the start-finish line. Was going quicker. He's going quicker again. Really good exit off of the final corner. Let's jump on board with the BMW driver. Appreciate this wonderful perspective. There we go. As Bullion tries desperately to keep not only the BMW but also the round bits of rubber on the four corners in check. Not so much an issue in qualifying, but during the race this is going to make a key difference. Who can make the tyres last? Cars that should be quite good at doing that. The Aston Martins for sure stand a decent chance tonight. The Porsche is also a pretty decent shout. I don't think the BMWs are going to have much to fight with tonight. But something that I think is fair to say is that the Hondas of Heineke and Venter are going to be car sensitive. Thank you very much. You're not wrong. That was way too loud. Why was that so loud? Appreciate the comments. Best to get it out of the way during this brief qualifying session. Mr. Patterson already in the pits has decided that he has gone as fast as he can and will go no further. Lap on board with the BMW as Lee comes down in towards turn 1. It's a really high dynamic range on that. I wonder what's going on there. One of the things that... just one of those technical issues. Should have been on top of it, but it's one of those things you can't really test until you're in the session. Mr. Greening is going faster. He is not setting a relative lap time, but the Ferrari is going to be an interesting choice for this race. We'll have to see how Neil Greening can go in the early stages of the race. Kayla Marwa in the Aston Martin, I did say to watch out for them. He is going significantly quicker than he's gone before, and it is still a valid lap time, so let's see what the Aston Martin can do as he comes towards the line. Number 11 will go up to 4th position and take position on the opposite side of the second row to where the leading 64 Aston Martin is currently. Nobody else looking like they're going to be setting lap times at the moment. Moore is going faster in the M4. Still a valid lap time at the moment. Yeah, ran really wide through turn 4, but this could be an improvement if he can hold it all together. He's got the Audi in front which Audi is that? It's the number 3 of Varanos, who is a little bit further down. Look at the suspension working on those curbs on the outside. That HSR livery is looking quite nice, I must admit. Even if it is on the BMW. So the qualifying session is over. We are just counting down the seconds to when the drivers will come across the line. Moore is in there with a shout of getting up into that top 4 fight, but he's stuck up underneath the rear wing of the Audi of Varanos. Every right to be there as well. What will that be in the end? Oh, he will miss out by seconds on getting that position, but there is pace in that BMW. And as Boolean comes across the line to see the checkered flag, that is going to be about it. Mr. Ferreira has not yet seen the checkered flag, and he will be one of the last to come across the line. Neville is coming as well. He lost a lot of time behind the Audi. I totally agree. There is a lot of pace in that BMW. As to how the tyres are going to last is a very, very different matter. Andrew, I concede to your... Oh, good grief, this really is quite quick, isn't it? I concede to your better knowledge of the Porsche. How, in these very, very difficult conditions, is the Porsche going to fare? Also gives us a really good opportunity to see how bad the delay is on the stream tonight. Everything set up a little bit in a rush, so I apologise profusely for that in advance. And Ashley, if you are still in chat, was I right about the changes that I've made to my broadcast setup? With the right setup, I totally agree. It will go absolutely brilliantly here. My biggest concern is how it's going to treat the tyres. We're at 45 degrees with the ultra soft compound that the wet tyres are made of. It's going to be difficult to make them last. I'm wondering if the engine over the back is going to make it worse, or it could make it better. It could reduce the traction loss, and it could mean that Porsche is the only one to look after its tyres. But at the same time, we're also very much guessing at this point. 20 seconds until the warm-up lap, and then we will start to run through all of the other screens that we can look through, as this is probably going to be the quickest and least weavingest warm-up lap that we have ever seen. It is going to be priority number 1. Alex is my favourite. Alex is in my favourite car. I'm going to very quickly take the opportunity while they're sat here to go for a different perspective. But look at how good that looks when you black out the bottom half of the front bumper. I won't do this again, don't worry, but look how good that looks. Look how sensible the BMW looks when you take the attention away from that front bumper. Really, really angry looking car is that M4. Tyres are going to be fine in the Porsche, says Andrew Brooker. He would be the man to know. He's got more experience in these cars than I dare to say that I even have in Assetto Corsa Competizione as a whole, and I've done quite a few endurance races in my time. It's still rubbish. I totally agree, it's still rubbish, but it's better. It's better than it could be. So, a wonderful look. Oh, no, that wasn't the right button. There we go. The Season of Chaos, as it has been called. I apologise for the blurry photo. Blame Paul Venter, who is currently running 7th. Alex Moore's leading the way in first position. Alan Patterson up behind, a few points behind in second. Charles Junior in third, with Noel Bullion 4th. Jude Neville 5th. Matthew Gamble 6th. Paul Venter 7th. Again, names to be looking out for as they come down to the end of the lap. Anthony Wilson In 8th, Lee Bullion 10th. Gerrit Jansen Van Vuren in 10th, and Giancarlo Scuola in 11th position. Other notable names: Sean Scudder in 16th position, so struggling in the championship so far. Lots of work for him to do. Other names: Chris Heinecker in 19th position, so lots of work for him to do. Starting 2nd position, watch for him to be making progress. And as we come down towards the end of the lap, it's about to get very, very noisy here at the Hungaroring. It's also about to get indescribably melty. So as the drivers line up 2 by 2, it's Aston Martin, Honda, Aston Martin. When Marwa gets into position correctly, they will come around the penultimate corner side by side each other. Venter not confident in the heat levels of his brakes. We're going to go to the only camera shot that you can really use when it comes to these logistical nightmare races, and that is the helicopter view. Look at how excellent. Is that going black when I change between screens? I'm going to change that very quickly before it gets very, very frustrating. There we go. We wait for the segment to go green, and we are away with just the slightest bit of audio lag for just a second. Fantastic start from the Aston Martin. The leading Aston Martin, Marwa, has fallen back and is going to get mobbed not only by Moore, but also Ferrari on the inside of Jensen. Little bit of contact there for the 11 car, but they're all out of turn 1 quite cleanly. Further down the field, it looks as though everybody has made it cleanly through. Who is that that's right at the back? Young in the BMW. Back where the BMW belongs. At the head of the field then, drive through for Alan Patterson. So an extra drive through the pit lane. It looks as though Mr. Wilson has the server not been set up correctly as BMW goes up the inside of for... I can't find the name to click. There we go. And round the outside of the 58 of Bullion goes Moore. This is on the defensive for the BMW. Aston Martin is going to sit back where he was. All of that came from the failed attempt from Moore on the Ferrari and Honda and the Aston Martin in front. Yeah, Heinecker's fallen back from 3rd to 5th in the number 13 car. But the drama isn't over by any stretch of the imagination yet. Eyes on the 296, who did lose out in that opening stanza as well. And Young going up the inside of Komnioglu in that really, I do like that livery on the 49 McLaren. Always looks fantastic. Venter takes the lead as Patterson will take his drive-through penalty. I thought he might have tried to open up a gap a little bit more than he did. Patterson really did have the pace. Just going to make 100% sure. So I don't see a mandatory pit stop for the drivers. Ah, there we go. Yeah, game issue to DT. Yeah, that's what I was expecting. So, where are the fights then? Marwa hunting down the leading Honda. I feel as though that's going to be a waiting game for Marwa, because it's only going to be a matter of time before the NSX burns up those rear tyres. Yellow flag comes out for just a second and then is going to be resolved. Robson hunting down Varanus in the number 3 Audi. Looks as though that's fairly consistent at the moment, unless I am very mistaken. Serrano in the number 2 NSX, looking to make a position on the 22 BMW. but will fall back through the middle sector. That BMW is absolutely excellent through the twisties and just loses out ever so slightly, as I think most cars do, to the NSX in a straight line. Marwa has fallen back ever so slightly. Let's have a look at this 3-car battle of Heinecker, Moore and Boolean here. And Moore going defensive against the Scotsman. Not going to worry too much about the braking zone. BMW as always having monstrously good brakes, and that is as far as the attack will go. Hopefully the BMW has the pace through the middle sector to be able to build a gap and start attacking the Honda for 4th position. Not something that they necessarily need to worry about, as that is Serrano's made an attempt and has gone off. Was there contact? I see an incident between the 22 and the 2 car. It may well have been contact. We'll have a look at the replay. The 2 did get past. So what's happened with the BMW? Oh, it's on the brakes. BMW's overestimated how much he can do to keep that position, and in the end it was a fairly simple punt that the NSX will gain from. So Serrano will come out of that with the lead, as he should have. Heinecker now, and Moore has fallen behind as well. So that may have been there is an incident that has come up. So let's have a look at. So it looks as though there's an incident between the 13 of Heinecker, the 71. This will be on lap 1, yeah, right at the start. So Patterson with the drive-through while we're looking at replays, and this is going to be a bump for the NSX, a bump for the Aston Martin. I don't know why Alex was included in that, but a little bit of damage then for the 42 car coming out of the initial scrum. Boolean now up behind the BMW of Moore, trying to make that position. Again, this is going to be such a complicated race because all these guys are trying to make track position, but there is a mandatory pit stop that needs to be served. 4 tyres need to go on, and look at the heat in the track. It has not gone down, and while the rain is coming down, there's no standing water because the water is actually evaporating as Serrano tries to make a pass on the number 3 car, same place as he was taken out last time around. The Audi tries to stick it out on the inside. Number 2 car with a little bit of damage on the rear corner makes the pass. Really, really good driving there from Serrano to take the position back on the number 3 Audi. Boolean now up behind the BMW. BMW up behind the Ferrari of Janssen. So where has... We've lost a car from that leading battle. No, it's Heinecker going back up to 3rd. Has demoted Janssen. Janssen, who's had a brilliant start in the number 6 Ferrari. Don't know as he's going to have the pace over the next few minutes to make it happen. Aston Martin has a quick look to the inside. You're not going to put Alex off that way. He doesn't use his mirrors. He's a BMW driver. Look how close these drivers are. These extreme conditions bringing out the very best of the drivers. Wonderful display. It looks as though the BMW is holding up the Aston through the apex of the corner, and he's just making sure he gets the exits all the way to the inside and back towards the racing line they come. Can the Aston Martin get it done under braking? No, there's nothing out braking that BMW, and now the Ferrari is overcooked the apex. We switch to Moore, who's going to have an opportunity up underneath the pink-wheeled Ferrari of Janssen, who runs wide again. Those tyres are looking a little bit cooked, I dare say, if not under pressure. It's the slightest of touches for the BMW. We're going BTCC racing in the BMW M4. If that was a touch, it was the gentlest of taps. But again, we expect nothing less from Alex. Well, no, I expect nothing less from Alex. It's absolutely what I'm used to from his driving. Bit understeery. I wonder if he's using up a little bit more of those tyres, as everyone seems to be using up a little bit more of those tyres than they need to be. Oh, that's an Aston Martin off. Neville's thrown... It's not Neville that's thrown it off. Where's the Aston Martin that's just lost it? Is that Boolean? In the 58 car. It was Boolean in the 58 car who's got massive damage. Trying to check out the rest of the telemetry that's going on. Is it a touch from the Porsche? No, it wasn't. Oh, he was assisted into the spin, but that wasn't the Porsche's mistake whatsoever. That 58 had gone already. Big damage on the inside. Yeah, I wonder if it is the 45-degree track. That wouldn't be surprising. So, no Boolean into the pits to repair that damage. This will count as a mandatory pit stop. I dare say I look with patience towards the... not that one. With patience towards the admin who is going to be manually looking at this. So Serrano looking up the inside of the number 3 of Verano's, and it is in the end almost a fairly easy pass. The NSX tries to get the cutback, but the number 2 of Serrano has covered off any further attack from there. Moore has fallen away to the tune of a second against the Ferrari. Neil Greening struggling to keep with the Porsche ahead as well. Falling actually into the grips of the Ferrari behind of Gamble. So Ferrari fairly competitive here tonight. I wasn't expecting that. But unfortunately, that is the rest of the attacks being made for the time being. Just putting the rest of the work apparatus away. That's how close it was. That's how close this is between the Porsche and the BMW. That was almost a look up the outside. So, where do we have... Where are the fights going on? I think we're watching the fight. BMW on the defensive against the Porsche. That Porsche is looking mighty strong in these conditions. We know the Porsche comes alive in the wet. I had a feeling that it was going to be, as Ferreira looked as though he was just about going to make a pass there. So, and once again, under brakes. Nothing happening. Oh, might be able to get the cutback on the Audi here. That number 3 car really is struggling with the brakes. I just saw the time go to 0. But this is the biggest fight, as that's Venter off. Venter, the leader, who was out on his own, and that isn't even registered. That is major damage. That hasn't even registered as an impact here. So that means we need to very quickly just go and have a look at the number 42. Give me back my reference. Where has Venter got it wrong? On the exit of the chicane. Oh, he's made the tiniest of mistakes. Big twitch. Thankfully, he didn't make a double impact onto the wall. excellent patience to be able to get out onto the track cleanly as well. But that is damage for the 42 car, and an hour left to race. It's going to be very, very tight to be able to run these tyres to the end. It's a fair point. We don't really need a mandatory pit stop. None of these cars are going to be doing over an hour in the slightest. So, where are the... Once again, Moore is up underneath the rear wing of the Ferrari. He's getting so close. I don't know if that was a touch or not. Let me have a look at the quick incident. No, it wasn't. But that did put the Ferrari wide, and now is the opportunity. Ferrari's on the inside as they come up towards turn 4. BMW's going around the outside, but he's got it done. Can the BMW make a gap now in third position with the demise of Paul Venter in the 42? Can the 71 car hold this position and make a gap to secure it with a 5-second penalty? With a 5-second penalty, this could be more going for the at least second position, or indeed first, if he can make up that 5.5-second gap to the good of the Ferrari, as Janssen is going to fall behind and now fall under pressure from Neville in the 296 Porsche. Ferrari versus Porsche, we've seen it before, we're going to see it again, especially with the up-and-coming WEC and IMSA championships. But here in the GT3 class, they are still tooth and nail fighting each other. BMW goes to the inside to go defensive. Ferrari trying to get the slipstream to stay close in a straight line. It's the BMW that's going to be comfortable in a straight line. That's a Ferrari getting very close on the grass. No contact or spills made, but Gamble must be looking here in the number 99 car. Really looking to find a way past Greening. I think he thinks he's got pace at the moment. He's looking after his tyres. There's plenty of pace to be had, but is there positions to be had? The Porsche is going to look to the outside. He saw the BMW do it last time round. He's side by side. Ferrari's got to give him space. Can't live with it. Doesn't have the straight line speed that the BMW did last time around. Ferrari has got a 10-second penalty for the race. I don't like that there's a race 2 here. What's going on there? So it's now a stop-go 30, so Ferrara really pushing his luck with the penalties. I wonder if that has been upgraded. Let's have a look at this replay. Coming into the final sector. BMW's, oh, it's going to be a touch and a bigger touch. And that's going to give the Aston Martin the position as well. So Terence Vieira hunting, and now Dave Young in the 129, who was doing so well in the race, facing the wrong way. The conditions really testing the limits of the drivers. Oh, and he gets a big twitch and is just helped into the spin by the 2 car. That's going to be big front-end damage for the number 2, and the 129 is going to go into the pits as well. Under an hour to go, so very much an opportunity as Neville's fallen away. Oh no, he's made the position. Ferrari are now 5th, 6th and 7th with the Porsche ahead, and the 71 BMW now pulling away in 3rd position, but not making time on Heinecker in the Honda NSX. I need to look at this manually, unfortunately. Once again, because it was a clean pass. Oh wow, he'd got it. He got passed by turn 2. So where was it made? Oh, it was just being able to hold the car tighter. The Ferraris used a little bit too much out of the tyres, and before he even got towards turn 3, the position has been made, door closed, and job done for the 296. Brilliant driving. As always from Neville, and now the Porsche is right up underneath the rear wing of the BMW. This could be Moore's third position under threat. Half a second gone in just 2 sectors. The BMW once again going defensive. Very, very different fight this is going to be, though. The Porsche has all of the traction. The Porsche has all the traction, but the BMW has the braking. So BMW able to live with it for the time being, but this is going to be a very, very spicy fight through the course of the rest of the race, only perhaps being separated by pit stops. Now the Ferrari trio attached by a fairly short piece of string. Marwa has been given that 5-second penalty, so with Heinecker closing in on the Aston Martin, this is going to be a big fight that is going to slowly push away. Well, it's going to be Heinecker after the pit stops with a 5-second lead, as long as he doesn't get anything wrong. I've cursed it now, I'm well aware that I have. So Patterson with that drive through now trying to make his way back up, has the NSX in front. It's all go in this race. Oh, contact made as the number 2 tried to get back across towards the racing line. Patterson's going to look towards the outside, going side by side into the chicane. That is the tightest of gaps. I dare say the 6-4 is going to need to give that number 2 position back, or it would certainly be the better decision to make. Meanwhile, Gamble, the back of this trio of Ferraris, still being patient. I dare say that this might come down to pit stops. And once again, who gets it right as the Porsche gets the drive off the final corner. The BMW has to go defensive, has no choice. Porsche goes back to the racing line. BMW will join him in the braking zone. Nothing the Porsche can do in the braking zone but a big kick of oversteer for the 296. The tyres are beginning to cry enough on the Porsche. BMW scrabbling for grip as well. Let's do us all a favour and jump on board with the 296 Porsche. What a noise from this car. BMW did twitch defensive. Oh, look at the... Pay attention to the steering here. Look at how many corrections Neville's having to make here. And it's under braking as well. Goes for the turn-in. Looks fairly stable, but the car is absolutely going to be behaving itself through this medium speed corner. Now back left through the middle of sector 2. And everything looks to be, oh, it's on the brakes. He's gonna get so close to the BMW. That would have been terrifying to see from the BMW's perspective. And now on the exit, what can the BMW do against... Actually, there's a lap behind car here in the mix as well, I think, who is going to get out of the way. Kind of gets out of the way, but he's not going to make it easy for the passing leaders. And now the 296 really does have a bit of an advantage. Going down, as Gamble looks as though he's got an overlap on the inside of Greening. No, once again, Ferrari's just able to close it up as Gamble tries to go up the inside. The lap down BMW, who is that? Is that Ferrari? I think that is. Yeah. Trying to stay out of the way, but there's nowhere to go on this track. A second now, the gap between the 6 and the 25, and the 99 car thinks there is now a position for me in between the two Ferraris. He can make this position gain. Now the battle for the lead is hotting up as well. Just going to see the resolution of this for the time being. That's absolutely fine. As the NSX falls back from the Aston Martin, I'm surprised that the drivers have been able to keep the tyres underneath them for this long. Moore has got a 10-second gap almost now to the cars ahead. This is the battle over the lead though. 11 and 13. Hayneck, I did say to watch for a fighting attitude from Haynecker. Pretty sure he's South African. Nationality is not one of those things that I'm terribly good at. But out onto the straight, start-finish straight. NSX with that massive balance of performance shift that they got recently. Coming down in towards turn 1, nothing happening yet. Hayneck, when he makes the attack, it's going to be a certain one. Aston Martin a little bit slow getting traction off the corner. I'm surprised by that. Let's jump on board with the NSX and see how the Aston is handling the corners. A little bit of hesitancy, maybe the front tyres going off on that Aston Martin. But then again, the rear end's looking very squirrely for the NSX as well. I wouldn't like to be in either of those cars at the moment, I've got to be honest. Welcome back, Andrew. As Neville now begins to hunt down the BMW. Porsche looks so much more secure in its grip. He's going to look to the inside coming out of the chicane. That's not a passing place that you see very often through turn 8 and 9. There's a big twitch of oversteer as he rides the curb, but will live to fight and dance another day. As now Jansen in the Ferrari is starting to close up, so it might be the BMW starting to cook its tyres. Is not able to live with the pace of the drivers ahead, but the longer he can keep these cars behind, more is going to be securing his position on the podium. And then it comes down to pit stops, as that is the NSX, I think, of Robson. No, it's not Robson. Who is that? Serrano that is on the inside, getting right in the way. Obviously nothing he could have done to get in the way, to get out of the way of the leaders, but he has given the BMW a bit of breathing space. He's going to jump right out of the way there through turn 2, just as he should. Fantastic show as normal. Neville looking ridiculous, and yeah, there is a Ferrari stack going on. There is a Ferrari stack. Ferrari stack, not so much, not anymore. But now that the lapped car has put the Porsche right onto the bumper of the number 6 Ferrari, this is Neville's opportunity to see how much performance he's got left in those tyres. Is there anything that he has in answer to the number 6 Ferrari? I think that he's got the performance in hand. He should be okay. And as they run through the second sector where the Porsche is going to be strongest. I dare say that car is running on maximum downforce to keep the rear end in check and keep those tyres alive. 46 minutes to go. Marwa is your leader but has a 5-second penalty. Heinecker right up underneath the rear wing is your incumbent leader once we get the pit stops served. Alex Moore is in third position, defending his championship lead really well in that BMW. Neville in the 296 though is closing back up. He's under a second once again. And as he comes onto the start-finish straight, the BMW has to go defensive. He has no choice. Through here, up behind the Porsche, is a trio of Janssen, Greening, Gamble in the Ferraris. Venter in the 42 looks on. I think he might still be carrying that damage. I don't think he's pitted, no. So running with damage, has a 2-second gap. Expects the NSX to be fighting with the Ferraris very, very quickly after the pit stops. The number 1 car of Gary Van der... Is that Snalian? That's my Gary, isn't it? Mr. Van der Mar in the Aston Martin. Drive through Varonis and Boolean too. Is that? Let me just have a very quick look on the penalties sheet. I think that may have been attributed by the game and then fixed by the admin. Van der Haar, that's the one. So Varonis and Boolean are going to drop right back out of the fight once again. Niall actually behind his dad tonight. Gamble now up behind the Ferrari, the 25 of Greening. 2 Ferraris side by side. These two have been attached by a very short piece of string the entire race. Oh, for track cuts, I see. So, oh, that was a massive dive to the defensive for Greening. How much pace does he think that he's lacking off of that final apex? Gamble looks, but it's not going to happen. He doesn't quite have that much braking performance. Neville's going to have to pass the BMW in the pits. I completely agree with you, but it's even more complicated now because he's going to have to attack and defend from the number 6 Ferrari behind. My goodness, what a race. I'm just going to have just a second of quiet to let me rest my breath, my voice. Honestly, this action does not let up. I'm trying to present some of the technical aspects, some of the really interesting facets of this race and why it's so fascinating, and why it has earned its place in the season of chaos. But these passes, this action will not let up. 58 car up behind the number 3 car, which is running with its hazards on, has been for quite a while. Looking to the outside, Audi goes defensive, gets on the brakes. I think the Audi's going to outbrake himself though. And that is going to be the position change. And in fact, the number 3 is going to fall out, lose out even worse. And that will be Boolean up to 12th position. And I think, is that number 2 car as well? Serrano, yep. Who will make up a position as well. Oh. Oh no, the number 2 is behind. So who's that got past as well then? Yeah. The battle at the top of the timing screens is still on. And I totally agree. It is going to be a battle in the pit lane. I think for the Porsche and BMW, there's no way they're going to make this pass stick. There's going to be a way to make this pass stick. The BMW... Alan pit stop done. On his way to catch more. I'm not surprised. That's the fastest lap of the race for Patterson. What was that time? Patterson with a 1:53.797. There's not many people faster than that. The PWSR car in the hunt now, albeit a little bit behind on the timing screens as it stands. But remember, all of these cars are going to fall out of Patterson's way now that he's served that pit stop. Gamble's still tucked up behind. I'm surprised that Venter hasn't pitted yet. He might be going to the halfway mark to get that damage. We've just lost one of the drivers, I can see from the server. That's really unfortunate. Porsche taking a very different line. I do wonder if the tyres are starting to go on that 296 car. Big wiggle. Let's just have a very different view from normal. Only because I really enjoy this view. Porsche right up behind the M4 here. And this is what Moore has been seeing for more or less the entire race. 296 has the traction, can't quite make it work. That's a whole lot of turbo noise. But this is the thing. This is where you need the best drivers, the best racing drivers, not hot lappers. We don't need hot lappers here. One of the things that endeared Alex to the HSR team as the Ferrari pit. So this is the strategy play for Jansen in the number 6 Ferrari. He's gone from behind this cube. And the Porsche is going to fall away as well. I think that may be tyres cooked for the 296 being tucked up underneath the BMW for too long. So this is where the strategy play comes. And once again, I'm trying to get out technical intricacies, and I just can't. There's not enough time. The action just doesn't stop. So, with the conditions that we've got at the moment, we don't need hot lappers, we need racing drivers, and this is what you get when you have racing drivers on track, is that you get really close respect for racing. This is an opportunity for the 296. It's going to be really tight if he can make it happen, but it's not going to happen yet. The question is, what is the number 6 car going to be doing by the time, and where is Patterson by comparison, because he was on the bumper of these cars. Where is the number 6 Ferrari compared to Patterson? Oh, it's going to be a big gap to make up. But it is very doable for the 64 car. So Moore is going to have to go defensive this time. Didn't quite get the traction off of turn 12. but keeps the defensive line. Again, this is the benefit of having proper racing drivers who know how to race and race respectfully. Heinecker into the pits. Now, all the while that Moore can keep these tyres in good condition, and he's going to the inside to get on the wet surface. I think that's what Moore's doing here. He didn't need to go defensive there, I don't think. That's just trying to keep the tyres in check. Number 6 has played his card, so look for Heinecker in the pits. Look for the number 6 Ferrari. That is your leading car that is important to this battle. As Brooker has put in chat, it's going to be a critical strategy play. Oh, there's a big switch of oversteer for the 296. I dare say there may be not very much tyres left in those cars. 13 will drop behind all of this. Fight Bullion into the pits for his pit stop. And where is the 42? 42 is still not pitting. Now, we saw during the first race that Moore left his pit stop as late as he possibly could. Or his pit stops, there were 3 of them, as late as he possibly could. Really, really, really interesting strategy, but made it happen in the end. 52.9 for Patterson then. Yep, that is significantly faster than anyone else. But now he has the number 6 Ferrari. The 6 Ferrari has covered off. Oh, as the BMW goes into the pits. I think that was the wrong call for the 296. I'm going to say it now. But here is the critical car. What has Gerrit Jensen van Vuren been able to muster in the time that he has been driving? His previous lap times weren't that much faster than Moore, but Moore in the pits now. Greening also in the pits. Venter to the pits as well. Go Neville go is the message coming from YouTube chat. But this is the fight at the moment. PWSR in the chat has already said their goal is to make it past Moore. Moore is still stationary. He will be the first of the drivers out of this bunch, I would suggest. Jensen's coming round the final corner. This could be a position gain for the number 6 car. The 6 car is through. Ferrari has made up time. I dare say the BMW has made the repairs, but where is Patterson in the 64 car? He is behind. Overcut normally works in the wet, I totally agree, but the track temperature is going to be cooking the tyres. So, and the driving temperature is not going to be great. So the 71 car then, with the 25 of Greening directly behind. This is the battle over what was going to be 3rd position, now 4th, as the number 6 car has 5 seconds to the good of this battle. However, it's 45 degrees, remember. That track temperature is not coming down. Both of these cars are going to have significantly fresher tyres come the end of the race, and critically, the braking performance of that BMW M4 is going to make a massive, massive difference to the attacking capability of Moore into the final minutes. 32 minutes remain as the pit stop cycles come through. I need me a Hall Soothers or something to get rid of this silly cough. The BMW is holding station ahead of the Ferrari and opening up, I dare say, a bit of a gap. Is going to go right to the inside, try to get that the wet tarmac to cool down those tyres in a straight line. And what else is going on? Van Vuren still in the pits. Heineke is in a different postcode, having not pitted. I did see there was a car that came out behind the two of them. That was Marwa. So the goal is for Patterson to get... Oh my goodness, that's really interesting actually. That's really interesting. So let's wait for the sector times to just play out. It looks as though Marwa has fallen behind. Yes. So Jensen has made the stop. Neville hasn't made the pit stop yet. So this is... Actually, has Neville pitted? I don't think so. Neville hasn't yet pitted. His last lap was 1:59.8, and now Moore is approaching being up behind him. So unless he's he has stopped. Okay, no, that's absolutely fine. This is the reason why paying attention to YouTube chat is vitally important. Drive through for Niall Boolean. I dare say that's going to be for track cuts. It's either that or he's had a massive mistake, but his lap time hasn't been long enough. Ah, no, he has pitted yet. So his previous lap was 2 minutes 50. So yes, that was a lap. His lap pitted. And now, just to really add to the frustration, I see a number 99 Ferrari coming out right behind the 25 car. So the fresh tyres able to work on the Ferrari and actually make a bit of a gap to the 99 car. Heineke will retake the lead in the number 13 car. Gamble will reassess his place in just a moment. Come on, there we go. Jansen gets it wrong. Big twitch on the exit. Is that on the exit of 3? No, that is on the exit of 4. That is through the kink. Is that going to come up as an instant? Please tell me that's going to come up as an instant. No, it's not. So the 6 car going to get it all wrong. Sorry about this. I just need to get to the 6. It was... Oh, that was a really big twitch on the inside as well. He's going to come up towards turn 4 here, bobble the curb, and... Oh, it's the slowest of spins. And he'll lose out so many positions. So, once again, the fight for Patterson becomes the fight for 3rd position if he can make his way past the 11 car, the 99, the 25, and the 71. The PWSR in chat thinks he can do it. Is there confidence in the PWSR garage still? 99 car is able to live with the pace of the 25, but once again, it's all about passing. Oh, the 6 has fallen behind Patterson as well. So that is job number the 1st complete for the 64 car. Only 4 cars now between Patterson and a podium position. This is the closest fight on track at the moment. Patterson is 1.6 seconds behind the 11 car of Marwa in a sister Aston Martin, so it's going to be very similar performance for the car in the very least. as to whether the tyres have the performance is the next question. The confidence is there, just need a bit of luck coming from the PWSR pit wall. The fight now starting to come towards the 71 BMW once again, but it's just, these are just two little fights at the moment, about to come towards one if Moore doesn't have the overall pace for the rest of the race. Once again, I've said it before, I'm going to say it again, it's the topic of the night. Tyres is going to be the big issue tonight, keeping the tyres in check, keeping the grooves on those wet compounds, because once you lose them, you're going to lose all of the grip that you have left. And this is Gamble with Marwa behind the Aston Martin number 11 car, looking to make a position. And this is going to play into the hands of the 7th place Alan Patterson. Oh, this is now the fight side by side for 3rd position. More defence to the inside will come across the racing line, and the 25 has to give. Best wasn't able to make it happen there, but there is not a lot of straight line performance in that BMW at the moment. And he is falling behind now as he has to make the best of the situation that he's got. But again, this is all big twitch for Gamble. Nothing that the Aston Martin behind can do. And there in the background, the yellow car, the 64, hunting to try and gain some positions. Points make prizes. What a fantastic view of the Assetto Corsa Competizione banner. Around the outside is going to be a very, very difficult ask, but there is the opportunity of the cutback. Aston Martin gets it wrong for Marwa. And he'll live to fight another day, but now he's going to drop back into the grips of Alan Patterson, who does have the slipstream now coming across towards the inside. Get those tyres wetted once again in a straight line while you can, but also defend against the PAWSR car. On the brakes in towards turn 1. It was a very half-hearted look for Patterson there. But nothing ventured, nothing gained. Maybe you could scare the Aston Martin off the apex. I know I've been scared off the apex a couple of times here. Back to the fight for what is kind of 3rd position. Gamble tucked up behind the 25. I have the feeling that we've seen this before somewhere. I can't for the life of me place where it's been. Oh right, I remember. It was just before the pit stops. The 99 and the 25 attached by a very short piece of elastic rope, and once again attached by a very, very short piece of elastic, making Greening's fight for 3rd position a little bit more difficult. I'm sure if he could speak to Gamble, he would be saying, here, give us a bit of space, I just need to make my way past the BMW, and then we can have a fight. Patterson's fallen back from the 11 car. I think just a little bit of an error. By the looks of it, Marwa's now 2 seconds off as well, so the front engine car using their tyres a little bit more, it looks like, than the Ferraris ahead. But a quiet evening's racing for Chris Heinecker in the lead. I did say to keep an eye on that car. He would be fighting for the lead, and so he is. This is going to be a great help to his championship hopes. But Neville too, having a very quiet evening, just coming up to lap the NSX. I thought I saw a BMW in front there. The 764 of Robson, who will no doubt find a position to get out of the way and make that position fairly easy to, yeah, gets on the brakes there. Well played by Robson there. Sensible driving, ruling out at the end of the day. Back to this fight over third position. The two Ferraris squabbling amongst each other is just letting Moore get away ever so slightly, and then the attack comes from the 99 car. Then he drops back, and then the 25 is just going to, with that little bit of free air that he's claimed, going to close back up to the BMW, and the cycle begins again. You have to think, if you had the opportunity to just focus forward, that third position would have already gone the way of the Ferrari already. But it's that extra car in the mix, just making the fight more complicated. Moore is driving for his life. As they come down in towards turn one, Moore sticking to his racing line. Really good driving by all concerned here. I don't think we've even had any more incidents. Let's have a quick look. No, 64 of Patterson, and the 2 was the last one that we saw, and that was at 25 minutes mark. Let's have a very quick look, see if we can find that, because that could be critical in the rest of the race. Patterson looking to make his way on there. It's just a little bit of contact. That was the thing that we saw already. See, that was the last incident that we saw. Really clean racing from everyone here, and suddenly the 3-car battle that was over third becomes a 4-car battle, and if Patterson can get up to the back of this battle, this is a 5-car battle over third position. Green looks to the inside, to the outside. BMW goes defensive, middle of the road for the 71 car. Is going to be a little bit compromised on the exit, but there's another corner coming, so he's not going to be able to make any progress there. Let's have a look at the interior of the Ferrari. What an awful view that was. How's that BMW looking in the spray in front? Everyone's sticking to the racing line this time. Moore's got a lapped car in front. He's probably trying to drag some aero benefit from it. Looks to the inside for the Ferrari. That is Marwa that's made, looks like he'd made a position in the background. No, he hasn't, but he is alongside up the inside. He's going to have to go the long way around for the 11 Aston Martin if he's going to make it happen. This could work. Casting line does work in these wet conditions. It's the tiniest of touches. That could even have been netcode. They're still side by side as they come out towards turn 3. Ferrari has to give him space, but still sticks to the outside. Space given, but only just. Great driving from Marwa there. But now on the outside for turn 4, these two slowing each other down is bringing Patterson back into the equation again. Big twitch of oversteer for Patterson in the outside. Bit of desync as well for Gamble now. The battle over third becomes the lower priority. Now Greening is going to be freed up to attack the 71 BMW. This may change the dynamic of the race, and it could even change the complexion of the podium. But they've all sorted themselves out once again, as they always do here at Logistical Nightmare Racing. The utmost professional drivers, as now the Paul Venter car, freshly repaired, looks to the outside and back to the inside as they come through. Where on earth is they? Oh, that's coming down towards the end of the lap. 10 and 11. On the brakes, fairly easy pass for Paul Venter then. Marwa still stuck behind the Ferrari of Gamble, now losing out, having to go defensive against Patterson. And Greening once again, this is how slow the BMW is over the lap. Gamble has been given an opportunity to break free from the Aston Martins behind it, is right back on the tail of the battle over third. So, Patterson now with a run, it looks like, on Marwa. Not enough straight to make it happen, but a very different racing line being taken by the two of them. Compromised entry speed to straight line the corner at turn 4 for Patterson. He's obviously comfortable with that, putting less pressure. Pressure on the tyres as well, of critical importance as always. But this battle over, it's over third position, but it's everybody from third down to 7th here in this battle. The leading two have been given a fair degree of fresh air to run their races, but behind them this is absolutely cat amongst the pigeons racing. Ferrari looks one way, then the left. He's going to have to be very careful. This is the biggest opportunity the Gamble's had so far. He's got alongside through turn 13. He's going to put the 25 to the inside for turn 14. And what can he do with the traction on the exit? This could be a pass coming down in towards turn 1. Patterson behind as well, looking to make the position. Ferrari goes the 25 goes defensive. The 99 goes even further. This is Patterson going alongside, trying to get an escape as they collide. The 64 car was not able to get stopped in time, and that was a very iffy move from all those drivers. I think that is going to have to go to the stewards, I would suggest. 64 car on the 11, yep, absolutely. That will go to the stewards, who will have a conversation about where the blame lies. Was that a missed braking point for Alan? I think that's only they can tell us, but now Gamble up behind Patterson. Patterson has been gifted 2 free positions, but now he has a very difficult proposition in the form of Neil Greening, who has been freed up to hunt down Alex Moore for that third position. 13 minutes remaining. It has been over an hour of racing at this point. It does not feel like it. Well, my voice feels like it. The rest of it, my goodness, it has been non-stop action. So as the gaps for the first time in this race. Gamble netcode is terrible. Yeah, we did see a couple of drops there. Are you seeing different drops to what I'm seeing? I dare say that may have something to do with it. It looked as though, from the service perspective, Alan just missed his... Yeah, Alan. Alan just ever so slightly missed his braking point as the 99 car is up underneath again. Straight line speed really is a strength for the Ferrari. Oh, I thought that was a bit over. I thought that was oversteer. It wasn't oversteer. It was a lag ping. But now the 99 car is looking to gain that position back. He is going to feel ever slightly robbed by the 64 car. But as you say, he's not doing himself many favours with those netcode issues. You always need to be able to trust where the cars around you are going to be. He's got an opportunity to have a look to the inside through turn 8. It's not going to happen though. The racing line is far quicker than having a look up the inside. He had to look. These two are so close in performance, even with that rear end damage. And into the final corner as a commentator cat decides to come and join me. I don't even know if the broadcast heard that. But now the gap becomes equal for the battle over third. The Ferrari goes to the inside to get the aero effect off the BMW, but more than that, it's about trying to get that wet performance onto the tyre. I'd be surprised if we didn't see more explorations of the track. Coming down into the final 10 minutes then, this battle shows no sign of letting up in the slightest. Moore has done everything that he needs to keep that third position, and if he were to lose it in these final 10 minutes, it would almost be a robbing, but that's what this is. It's racing, and the 29 car is super close, looking to the inside in towards the chicane. It's never going to happen through there, but he needs to show himself in the mirrors to just try and put more off. I don't think it's going to happen. Once again, more BMW driver definitely not using his mirrors. Tonight he is focused forward and keep that third position. Bear in mind, Moore is leading the championship. The two drivers in front of him aren't in competition for it at the moment. Patterson, though, really hunting now. That's the 25 car. Fastest lap of the race for Patterson, looking to follow up on that pace. And now the 25 car has to go defensive. 71 goes right to the outside, gets a lovely straight line exit for the start-finish straight. It's going to keep the Ferrari behind. Now he just needs to do that about 4 more times. And the third position is his 25. Stayed on the inside. Oh, as the 64 gets a kick for oversteer, that's going to give the opportunity to Gam to get back past. And now, after all of that hard work, Patterson needs to do it all over again and get past the 99 car, which, as we can see, really struggling with netcode to the server at the moment. One moment, just having some kitten issues. There we go. So now the battle begins anew. The 99 car has the pace. We've seen that the 99 car has the 1 lap pace to overcome the 25 Ferrari, but it just can't make the pass. The Ferraris have the same strength as each other, obviously. But that was a big kick of oversteer that is going to drop him back into the clutches once again of Patterson in the 64 car. The fight that was between ours Greening is so close. It looked as though he was a 10th off. So alongside as they went into turn 12. But now, once again, the attack has fallen away through turns 12 to 13. And now he has to be worried about the attacks from behind. Patterson is right up underneath the rear wing of Marwa, but of Gamble, but Marwa's right up underneath the wing of Patterson with a bit of a grudge as well. He will have from that contact made earlier in the race. Six minutes remaining then, and I hope that my voice has 6 minutes of this left in it. 99 looks to the inside, doesn't have the overlap. But now the fight that was over third, Greening has fallen out of a second to the BMW, going defensive against the 99 car, and the two Aston Martins behind battling as well. Oh, there's almost not enough screen space to be able to keep all these cars on the camera. Big twitch from the 99 car as Patterson closes up once again, having to do the hardest work of all, that of attacking and defending at the same time. But now Greening beginning to close back up to the Ferrari, to the BMW in third. We've seen this pattern too many times. Patterson goes wide, wasn't able to get it back into the apex to get the traction into the final corner. Going to keep a really tight line this time, shorten the line as much as possible. But ahead, the Ferraris are battling. Gamble's got a 0.2 second of a gap. He's going to look up the inside in towards turn one. The 25 is giving him space. They make contact, just the slightest of side off side. But now is that going to be the 25 falling behind both of the Aston Martins in the end? Good grief, my voice is actually really starting to go. And it was a difficult pass in the end, but the 99 now has the opportunity to go after the 71 BMW. What can Patterson, with a 10-second penalty for it must be investigated after the race. Just looking at the penalties that have been handed out, let's have a quick look here. Yeah, there will be further penalties coming from that, I dare say. So a 10-second penalty for Patterson is going to make that third position a lot more difficult to achieve. 3 minutes remaining, it's going to be pretty much impossible. And that's going to drop him right out of this fight as well. That's going to drop him as far down as 8th. I understand the severity of the penalty. It was yeah, I think that's, yeah. I will reserve judgment until the stewards get to have a proper look at it. But that just means that the yellow car is no longer in this fight and now needs to make up as many positions as possible just to preserve his position, because at the moment he is going to fall down as far as 8th position behind Paul Venter, who has been slowly creeping up to this fight. What a race though from all of the drivers here. Not least of which from the 71 BMW, who hasn't had the pace over the race session, but has absolutely been keeping the cars and the rest of the drivers in check. At another circuit where it's slightly easier to pass, you could understand that it would be a very different proposition, as the 64 is going to give way to the 11. Marwa's made the position again. As Gamble now with a 5-second penalty for that hip and shoulder across the nose of the 25 of Greening. That's going to push him. That's going to push him. That's a drive-through for Gamble. That has been turned into a drive-through. Let me just check. In the dying moments, this is going to have to be served this lap by. So does the 99 car peel off into the pits? He does. This is going to drop him right out of the fight and right into a lot of clean air after all of that. So what was that about? Was that even manually assigned? Now that's the big question. Track limits, that was assigned by the game then. So onto the final lap they come. I have a feeling that Gamble knew that was coming. Onto the final lap then. And suddenly the Ferraris have fallen away. In fact, we've lost one of the Ferraris as well, as Venter will make his way up into 7th position for the time being, but not to mention Patterson is going to promote that as far as 6th position as well. Final lap of the race. Chris Heinecker has run a simply superb race from start to finish. He has been peerless through his survival of these wet conditions. We expect nothing less from the man who has mastered not only the Porsche but also the NSX as far as the handling is concerned. And he comes round turn 13 for the final time under race conditions. It can be a four-wheel slide on the exit. It doesn't really matter. He's going to come round the final corner completely unchallenged. The next card further back is 10 seconds in arrears to the 13 car. And Chris Heinecker will win round 3 of the Logistical Nightmare season, and what a win that was. The 296 car will come across the line to take a solitary 2nd position, but what a drive for the Luxury Time Racing driver Jude Neville as well. Moore will come across the line to defend his championship lead in 3rd position. Fantastic drive for the BMW, and then the cluster of cars in the form of Marwa, Patterson, Greening, Venter, Gamble all coming across the line within a couple of seconds of each other. Gary van der Haar will take 9th position with Serrano taking home 10th position. Lee Bullion will take home 11th ahead of Young in the 129 car. Robson will come home in 12th with Duprice in the 7, finding his way home in 13th. And Noel Bullion in the pits will round out our finishers. We did, in the end, lose out quite a few drivers, unfortunately. Let's go back to the pits. It's ditching all of the... It's ditching all the drivers that have quit. That's really unfortunate. So it will be... Who is that is doing donuts? I must see donuts. Donuts! Give me donuts. No donuts. That's absolutely fine. Chris Heinecker then will win and take home the crown. Unfortunately, I now have a different broadcast to get to, so unfortunately no driver interviews tonight, but we will see you all again very, very soon for round 4 of the Logistical Nightmare Racing Nightmare season. A whole season of nightmare races, and we will see you next time at the same time on the same channel. It's been a pleasure as always to be back behind the microphone, and we will see you all next time. Have a very good evening, and as always, be excellent to each other.